Welcome back. Last time in our previous video, we had been doing flexors of the hip. We had met a bunch of hip flexors, including the iliacus, the psoas major, the sartorius, the rectus femoris, and the tensor fasciae latae. Today, we're going to start by doing a hip extensor. Now, there is only one hip extensor that we got to know. That one hip extensor is a big muscle in the butt, and that big butt muscle is the Gluteus Maximus. And we see it right here. We see it on both sides there. Gluteus Maximus is going to extend the hip. Remember, flexors are in the front. That's our general rule. Extensors are in the back. We can see it right here as well. This whole big thing right here is the Gluteus Maximus. If we look at this muscular gentleman right here, we can see both sides, his right and his left Gluteus Maximus there. Of course, you should pause this and find his latissimus dorsi, his trapezius, his deltoid, his triceps brachii, his biceps brachii, and his brachialis as well. So definitely do all that. All right, so that's our Gluteus Maximus. Let's keep going. So in this picture, we've actually ripped off the Gluteus Maximus. So the Gluteus Maximus would normally be right here to show a muscle underneath it. That muscle that is deep to the Gluteus Maximus is called the Gluteus Medius. It's the Gluteus Medius. The Gluteus Medius, it is on the side. So it is an abductor. It's not the only abductor. The other abductor, the one we met last time, was the tensor fasciae latae. Both these muscles end up grabbing onto this area right here. By the way, the stretch of connective tissue is called the iliotibial band or iliotibial tract. Now, the Gluteus Medius, it is one of those muscles for which we have to know the origin and insertion. It is going to originate on the lateral ilium, and it is going to insert on the greater trochanter of the femur. So remember those from earlier this semester. Okay, with that takes care of the Gluteus Medius. We are now going to rotate our thigh to the inside because we just did abductor muscles. Well, what's the opposite of abductor? It's adductor. Abductors are on the outside, adductors are on the inside. And there are three. We're going to start with one that is very visible and very vertical. This visible vertical one is right here. It's this whole thing. This whole thing right here. It is an adductor muscle, this whole guy, and it is called the gracilis, which means slender. That is the gracilis. Now, the gracilis is a great landmark. If I find my gracilis, particularly this upper part of the gracilis here, and I look at its neighbor in the back and neighbor in the front, I'm going to find my other two adductors. The neighbor in the back, well, let's do the one in the front first, actually, if I can get my arrow. There it is. The neighbor in the front, so this guy right here, that neighbor, that is called the adductor longus. So that is the adductor longus. There is also going to be a neighbor in the back of the gracilis. There we go. That neighbor is right there. And that neighbor to the gracilis is called the adductor magnus. Notice they're both adductors. Well, that's easy. They're going to adduct. The longus is in the front. L comes before M, of course. Magnus is in the back. So we can see our three adductor muscles there. Okay, good. What else can we see? We can see our adductor muscles in this model as well. The vertical one running down the inside of the thigh. Right here is the gracilis. And then I can see the guy who's behind him right there. That's the Adductor Magnus. All right. So I think we're done with the adductors. Yeah, because we can talk about the knee joint. The knee joint is not a ball and socket joint. It is a modified hinge joint. So it is capable of movement only in one plane, the sagittal plane. And the movement it does is flexion and extension. Now the knee is a little bit backwards. In almost all the other instances so far, flexion has been towards the front. But for the knee, we can see that flexion is to the back. So our angle decreased here. And extension is to the front. So the knee is our exception to the rule of flexors in the front. Because for the knee, the flexors are going to be in the back and the extensors are going to be in the front. All right, the major group of extensors is this group of muscles called the Quadriceps Femoris. So it's a group of 4 muscles called the Quadriceps Femoris. We've met one of them already. We've met the Rectus Femoris, because the Rectus Femoris was also a flexor of the hip. The Rectus Femoris, of course, is this guy right, and I can't draw a straight line for some reason today, there we go, this guy right here, that is the Rectus Femoris. It is going to originate on the anterior of the hip bone, is going to insert onto the base of the patella. So, that Rectus Femoris has a pair of neighbors. The neighbor on the outside, right there, that neighbor on the outside is called the vastus, because it's big, vastus, vast, it's big, the vastus lateralis. The neighbor on the inside, you could probably figure out his name, probably can guess it. So this guy right here, neighbor on the inside, is called the vastus medialis. These guys are 2 other members of our quadricep group. Now, there is a third member, but we are not going to ever see him. We're not going to ever see him because he is deep. That deep, unseen member of the group is called the Vastus Intermedius. And all of these guys are going to be extensors of the knee. If I look at the muscular man legs over here on the right, I can see, there we go, I can see his vastus lateralis here, and also right there. I can see his vastus medialis here. Well, let's undo that. Let's switch colors. There we go. Vastus medialis here and here. Then I can see his rectus femoris right there and right there. Okay. Let's keep on going. Let's look at this model, because on this model I can also see these quadriceps. So I can see, looks like I can see, what, 2 of them here? No, actually I can see all 3. Okay. I can see his rectus femoris right here. This whole thing is the rectus femoris. Actually, I can only see 2. Can't see the vastus lateralis, but I can see the vastus medialis right here. I can also see this vastus medialis over on the other side. Awesome. So I think that's it for the quadriceps. I don't think I have another quadricep picture. And I don't. It's hamstring time. We'll deal with the hamstrings next time on the next video. All right. See you later. Goodbye.